After you finish the execution phase of your project, you're done with go live and your product is out there in the world. At this point, you might be tempted to just wipe your hands clean and say we're finished, but you still need to close out the project. It's often overlooked, but it is important. You might be asking yourself, why is closure important? You want to close out your project because you need to confirm that your project objectives have been met. You want to provide that sense of closure to your project team, to your stakeholders, and to your sponsor. You want to use this time to employ continuous improvement practices for your future projects. You want to take this time to capture knowledge that has been gained from this project and actually do something with it. And you want to clean up any loose ends that are out there. With all this in mind, we put together a project closure checklist for you to use in your projects. You can find it below this video. Now, the first item on our list is the lessons learned meeting. This is typically a meeting with your project team, and it's all about continuous improvement, both for the team and your future projects. During this meeting, you want to take a look at any issues that have come up throughout the project. Look for ways to help improve quality, value, workflow, speed of completion, cost efficiency, and team synergy so that you can take these lessons that you've all learned and apply them to the next project. So typically, we ask everyone on the team 3 questions. What worked well? Where can we improve? And then the third is sort of a wild card question. Pick your own here, but we usually ask, what are you most proud of as a result of this project? And take everything that comes out of your lesson learned and use it in your final presentation, which we'll talk about in a moment. The next thing on your project closeout checklist is survey. And typically, we conduct some sort of survey towards the end of the project. Maybe determine if project objectives were met, perhaps to measure satisfaction. So, you think back to your project charter where you had listed your objectives and success criteria. You know how you had planned on measuring project success? You might want to design your survey so it's aligned with those objectives that you had originally laid out. You may also identify any new measures of success that might have emerged while the project was underway. And just like lessons learned, you want to take these survey results and feed those into your final presentation. And speaking of that, on to the third item, which is the final presentation. Your final report or final presentation is typically done as a presentation to a live group, but it might be just compiled into a report and sent out to your sponsor and steering committee. And generally, the final presentation is going to include an overview of the project, results from your survey, whatever came out of your lessons learned meeting, and any next steps. As you're doing your final report, you want to tell the story of your project. So think about your audience, think about what's important to them. They're going to want to know the why. Don't forget to look at your project charter, which should help you with that why. You might also include the project goals and objectives, how it aligns with board goals and department goals, who was on the project team, and what your deliverables and outcomes were. And once you've presented your final report, it is time to celebrate. A nice, short, fun celebration with your project team kind of puts a cap on the project. It lets the team members know their work is valued and that we've made a difference. It helps provide closure, and it can energize us and get us ready for the next initiative. So some things you want to consider when you're planning your celebration. First, you want to do it after you've presented your final report to your steering committee and sponsor. We want to include everyone who worked on the project. Keep it short, make it fun. It's not just another meeting, it's a celebration. So do what you can to make it feel like a celebration and not just another PowerPoint presentation. It's really about acknowledging the team's efforts, so maybe include a quick game or short activity to engage everyone. If you're in the office, bring a pizza or maybe walk through with a coffee cart. Just try to have fun with it. And not everyone remembers all the details of the project, so don't forget to include a very quick project recap. What did we do? Why did we do it? And finally, it's a good thing if you can get your sponsor to show up and share a few words with the team. Now we're getting into the home stretch on closure. Archive your project documentation. This includes your project files, recorded meetings, your project plan, etc. Tidy it all up, close it off, hand off files to operations as needed, and let the sponsor know where everything ended up. And then we've got number 6, which is your other closeout items. This is kind of a catch-all, so hand off the project to whoever's going to own it long-term. If you have payments that need to be settled, take care of that. And this is also the time to do any sort of budget analysis that might help you optimize the plan for your next project. And the last item, this is the big one. Sign off with your project sponsor. So go over your project, the scope, the deliverables, and all the completed closeout items. Make sure your sponsor is 100% happy. And with that, you're done with your project. Piece of cake, right? This is a short video, and this checklist might make it seem like closing is a small part of the project, but it really does take time to close your projects out correctly. So remember, when you build your project plan at the beginning of the project, to allot time for the closure phase. I hope you got something out of this. I hope this checklist is helpful. If you're looking for more, check us out at epmo.sdcoe.net.